Hi guys! Welcome to our video series for differential equations. And katulad ng mga nabanggit ko sa ating Facebook page that we are going to have video series about differential equations pero more on solving problems, no? So hindi tayo masyado magpo-focus sa mga concept or yung mga ideas behind it. So magso-solve tayo ng maraming mga problems in differential equations. But of course, we're going to explain it step by step, no? Yung mga ginagawa nating pagsasagot. Okay, so it is just similar sa mga ginagawa noong time namin kung saan naghahanap kami ng mga solved problems sa differential equation. But on this case, you don't need to buy those books. You just need to watch our videos. Just follow our video series and para ka na rin nagkaroon ng books ng solve problems in differential equation and better because we are going to explain that step by step. So, yun lang ang gagawin natin dito sa ating series. Magsosolve tayo ng mga problems. Okay, magpo-focus tayo sa pagsosolve ng mga problems, hindi doon sa mga lectures, okay? And bibigyan ko kayo ng overview. Ito yung magiging lecture natin ngayon. Papakita ko lang sa inyo yung overview para magkaroon na kayo ng idea. But of course, don't worry, we're going to proceed on this step by step. So, una is, ipapaalam ko muna bakit ba natin kailangan pag-aralan yung differential equations. Kasi para matutunan natin ang gusto talaga yung isang bagay, dapat alam natin bakit natin siya pag-aaralan. What is our reason behind ng ating pag-aaral? Gusto mo mag-engineering? Bakit? Bakit ka kumakain? Kasi nagugutom ka. Bakit ka natutulog? Kasi kailangan mo magpahinga. So, ganun din dito. Okay, bakit tayo mag-aaral ng differential equations? Bakit mahalaga to sa mga engineering students na katulad natin? So, dahil nandito na kayo ngayon sa differential equation, so of course, napag-aralan na ninyo yung differential calculus, integral calculus, analytic geometry, trigonometry, at kung ano-ano pa. And, kung nahirapan kayo sa calculus, then you have to expect na ganun din dito sa differential equation because this is collective. Lahat na napag-aralan natin previously in mathematics, we are going to apply dito sa differential equations. So, dahil mahirap siya, so ito bang differential equation? Ginawa to para i-torture yung mga estudyante? Of course not, diba? So, this is what we're going to learn here. Bakit kailangan mag-aral pa tayo ng differential equation? Pwede bang wala na lang differential equation? Why we need to learn differential equation? Then, paano yung mga sistema na ginagawa natin to write differential equation? Ano yung pinagkaiba ng differential equation sa algebraic equation? Pag-aaralan din natin, how do we solve for the solution or how are we going to prove the solution of differential equations, no? Paano natin nakikita or nalalaman kung ano yung solution ng differential equation? We're also going to identify ano yung pinagkaiba ng ordinary differential equations sa partial differential equation. And we're going to answer all of these questions in here. So, this is an overview ng mga pag-aaralan natin dito sa ating video ngayon. And of course, mas marami tayong sosolve na problem sa mga susunod pa natin mga lecture videos. So, I hope you will enjoy this video. And I hope you will find this really useful sa inyong pag-aaral ng differential equations. So, let us now start our discussion. Why should we study differential equations? So, basahin natin itong line dito na sinabi ni Galileo Galilei. The book of the universe is written in the language of mathematics. So, when we say mathematics, this is collective. So, it means lahat na ng branch ng mathematics. But of course, we will be using a lot of differential equations in order to explain what is happening to our continuously changing world. So, napakalaki ng ginagampanan ng differential equations. So, let us try to explain that a little further. But before that, let us first understand ano ba yung differential equations. Differential equations is an equation involving an unknown function and its derivatives. So, ibig sabihin, pag nakakita ka ng isang equation na merong derivative, yon ay differential equations. So, katulad ng sinabi ko, gamit na gamit itong differential equations, lalo na sa physics, no? So, this is really important, lalo na sa katulad nating nagtitake ng engineering courses. So, in order to really visualize kung saan siya ginagamit, let us review itong alam na natin to, itong ating Newton's law. So, we know that Newton's law is equal to F is equal to ma. Okay, so we know that. But this is not actually how it is written by Newton. So, more or less, it is written this way. So, F is equal to mass times d squared x over dt squared. So this is still not exactly how Newton wrote this, but this explains better than the first one. So as you can see, our acceleration here is d squared x over dt squared, in which this is a second derivative. So as you can see, this equation have a derivative. So this is a differential equation. So picture this illustration here wherein Newton is sitting under a tree and merong nalalaglag na apple, no? So as you can see, the position of the apple is changing relative to time. Nagbabago yung lokasyon ng ating apple bawat segundo or bawat minuto habang siya ay nalalaglag. Right? So that means the position of the apple is the function of time that keeps on changing. So nakita na ninyo, no, yung application ng differential equations in physics, no? And as we go on, okay, sa later na discussion natin dito sa ating series, makikita ninyo yung iba't iba pang applications ng differential equations. So we also apply differential equation, for example, in mixing of liquids, no? For example, meron tayo ditong liquid, and then naghalo tayo ng, let's say, salt. Okay, and then we mix this continuously. So, nagbabago yung concentration ng ating liquid dito habang nagmi-mix tayo. So, the concentration of our liquid is changing relative to time. Katulad din nito, no? Dito nagbabago yung position relative to time. Dito naman nagbabago yung concentration relative to time. So, maraming application ang differential equation. Meron din siyang application sa electric circuits, meron din siyang application sa heat transfer, and even yung ginagamit nga natin Newton's law of cooling. Okay, para ma-determine natin kung ano yung temperature or gaano katagal din magbabago yung temperature ng isang material when you place it in a specific location na alam natin yung temperature. Okay, so now alam na natin kung bakit, no, mahalaga na maintindihan natin kung ano ba itong differential equation. Okay, saan natin siya gagamitin? Bakit siya pinag-aaralan sa engineering? Marami siyang applications, kaya natin siya pinag-aaralan. This is not just to torture yung mga student, pero dahil magagamit talaga natin siya when we start really studying yung mga in-depth na concepts ng engineering. So, when we talk about differential equation, naintindihan na natin that differential equation are equations involving a known function and its derivatives, no? So, maraming paraan kung paano natin pwedeng maisulat yung differential equation. So, basta yung equation natin merong derivative. So, for example, pwede natin siyang isulat this way. Like we have y2 prime. So, alam na ninyo yan, no? If we have 2 prime, napag-aralan natin yan sa differential calculus, it means this is a second derivative. Plus y prime. So, we have a derivative of y minus 6y is equal to 0. So, as you can see, this is an equation having derivatives. So, this is a differential equation. We can also present this as a function notation, no? So, nalaman din natin yan sa differential calculus. So, we can also write this as we know that y is a function of x. We can also write this as function, okay, of x2 prime. So, we have function of x2 prime plus function of x prime, then minus 6 function of x, which is equal to 0. Right? So, pwedeng ganitong form, pwede rin ganitong form. So, it's the same. This is still a differential equation. Okay? Dahil meron tayong derivative. Or, pwede rin natin siyang isulat by Leibniz form, di ba? Yung we have d squared y over dx squared plus, so dito we have only y prime or derivative of y. So we have here dy over dx. Then we have minus 6y. And this is equal to 0. Okay, so if you will remember sa algebra, kapag meron tayong equation, we can solve for our equation. Diba? Nakukuha natin yung sagot ng ating equation. So, what is the difference between differential equation and the algebraic equations? So, for example, we have here our algebraic equation. So, I think I'll just write something na simple quadratic equation. Okay, so we have let's say x squared plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. Diba? Sinusolve natin yung ating equation, and once we solved our equation, we are going to have a value, okay, our numerical value ng ating equation. So, halimbawa, dito sa ating binigay na quadratic equation, kapag sinolve natin to, we will have x plus 2 times x plus 1, which is equal to 0. So, we can solve for the value of x. So, we have x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to negative 1, diba? So, we are able to solve our equation at ang naging sagot natin is a number or a number value, no? So, yan ang algebraic equation. But when we talk about differential equation, our solution here is a function, not a number, or it could be a set of functions. Okay, so when we solve a differential equation, hindi katulad ng algebraic equation na ang nagiging sagot natin is a number or a value, then in here it will be a function. So let us still consider this given here. So we have y2 prime plus y prime minus 6y is equal to 0. So we are going to check the solution of a differential equation. So let's say we have here y is equal to e to the 2x. So what we're going to find out is if this equation here is a solution of our differential equation here. Okay, so katulad ng sabi ko kanina, no, yung solution ng ating differential equation is not a number but a function. So we have a function here which is y is equal to e to the 2x. So ang papakita ko sa inyo is kung totoo ba na itong y is equal to e to the 2x is a solution of this differential equation. So how are we going to do that? Okay, so I'm doing this para ipakita sa inyo yung pinagkaiba ng algebraic function or algebraic equation, sa differential equation. Dahil nung nag-solve tayo ng algebraic equation, ang naging sagot natin is a number. Okay, so let us check if this is the solution of differential equation. So what we're going to do is to find out the first and second derivative of this equation, and then we are going to substitute that here. Okay, so dapat maging equal yung value nila. So ang nakikita natin dito, y2 prime plus y prime minus 6y is equal to 0. So that means kapag sinubstitute natin yung second derivative nitong ating equation dito, and yung first derivative niya, sinubstitute natin dito, dapat ang maging sagot natin is also equal to 0. Okay, so we have y is equal to e to the 2x. So let us take the first derivative. So what's the first derivative of e to the 2x? So we have e to the 2x. Then the derivative d over dx of 2x. Diba? So we have y prime is equal to e to the 2x, then the derivative of 2x, which is 2. So I'm going to write that first. So 2 e to the 2x. So that's our first derivative. Now we're going to get the second derivative. So we have y2 prime is equal to 2 e to the 2x, then the derivative of 2x. So again, I'm going to write that here na para magkasya. So our y2 prime is equal to 2 times 2 will be 4. So we have 4 and e to the 2x. Okay? So our y prime is 2e to the 2x and our y2 prime is equal to 4e to the 2x. Now we're going to substitute that here. So we have y2 prime plus y prime minus 6y is equal to 0. So, kung maalala ninyo, no, sa algebraic equation, ganyan din naman ang ginagawa natin. Once we found the solution of our algebraic equation, kapag sinubstitute natin itong value ng x dito sa ating equation, we will have a 0 value here. Okay? Magiging equal pa rin yung ating solution. So, let me write that as an example, no. For example, if our x is equal to negative 2, so we have negative 2 plus 2 times negative 2 plus 1 is equal to 0. So negative 2 plus 2 will be equal to 0. So 0 times, okay, negative 1 is equal to 0. So we have 0 is equal to 0. So this is how we check the solution of an algebraic equation. So, it's the same here, no? So, how to check the solution of differential equation? We are also going to substitute yung solution ng ating differential equation, no? So, let us now substitute that here sa ating equation. So, we have y2 prime. So, our y2 prime here is nasagutan na natin dito. So, our y2 prime is equal to 4 e to the 2x plus y prime. Our y prime is 2e to the 2x. So, 2e to the 2x, then minus 6y is equal to 0. Alright? So, now, as you can see, we can factor out itong e to the 2x, right? So, we have e to the 2x, then we have 4 plus 2, then minus 6y is equal to 0. So, e to the 2x times 6 minus 6y is equal to 0. But alam natin dito sa ating given that y is equal to e to the 2x. So, therefore, we can substitute that here. So, we can change our e to the 2x to y. So, we have 6 times y minus 6y is equal to 0. So, 6y minus 6y is equal to 0. So, this is 0 is equal to 0. So, dahil nag-equal siya, that means y is equal to e to the 2x is the solution of our differential equation here, no? So, that means our answer here is yes. This is a solution of this differential equation. So, para ka rin nagsosolve ng algebraic equation. Okay, so, baka may mga sagutan tayong ganyang problem pa rin later on, ano? So, at least nakapagbigay na tayo ng idea kung ano yung pinagkaiba ng differential equation sa algebraic equation. So, how are we going to prove if an equation here or a function here is the solution of the differential equation na given sa atin, no? So, let me just explain that para hindi na natin siya i-explain later on, no? Now, meron tayong iba't ibang types ng differential equation. So, here, let us talk about ordinary differential equation and partial differential equation. So, what is an ordinary differential equation? If the unknown function depends on only one independent variable, the equation is ordinary differential equation. Okay, so I will explain that further. Basahin ko muna sa inyo yung partial differential equation. If the unknown function depends on two or more independent variables, the differential equation is a partial differential equation. Okay, so let me explain that by answering this first problem here. So we have here d squared y over dx squared plus 3 dy over dx plus 2y is equal to 0. So, sabi natin, differential equation, okay, yung ating definition, is an equation involving an unknown function and its derivative. So, meron tayong derivative dito, no, which is second derivative, d squared y over dx squared, and also a first derivative, dy over dx. So, we know that this is a differential equation, diba? Now, since this is a differential equation, so is this an ordinary differential equation or a partial differential equation? This is an ordinary differential equation dahil isa lang yung ating independent variable. So, as you can see, y is a function of only one variable here, which is x. Okay? So, our y is a function of x. So, we have only one independent variable. So, that means our equation here is dependent only on one variable, which is x. So, this is an ordinary differential equation. Okay? So, let me write that in white. Okay? So, this is an ordinary differential equation. So, by the way, in differential equation, if we are talking about ordinary differential equation, we write this as ODE. Okay? Now, is this second given we have here is an ordinary differential equation or a partial differential equation? This is actually a partial differential equation. First, differential equation siya dahil meron tayong derivative. Okay? So, meron tayo ditong dz over dx. But, as you can see, our variable here is 2. Okay? Meron tayong independent variable x and independent variable y. So, our z is dependent into two variable, which is x and y. So as you can see, we have dz over dx here, and we have dz over dy in here. So that means this is a partial differential equation, PDE. Alright? And para mas madali rin natin siyang ma-identify, yung notation ng ating ordinary differential equation, we have our d written this way, d squared y or over dx squared. Okay, samantalang if we have a partial differential equation, ganito yung ating notation ng d. So kapag nakita ninyong ganyan, check na lang natin yung ating denominator, no? If our independent variables are more than 1, no? So that means we have partial differential equation in our given. Okay? So madaling makita yan dahil ito yung ginagamit nating notation if we have a partial differential equation. Now, this next one, x, y prime plus y is equal to 3. So, ang unang hanapin natin, is this a differential equation? Yes, because this equation has a derivative, which is y prime. So, therefore, this is an ordinary differential equation kasi isa lang naman yung ating independent variable, no? Which is x, okay? Because this is dy over dx, yung ating derivative. Now, this one, we have y3 prime plus 2 y prime squared plus y prime is equal to cosine x. So, is this a differential equation? Yes, this is a differential equation dahil meron nga tayong y3 prime and y2 prime and y prime. So, that means we have a derivative in our equation. And this is an ordinary differential equation dahil isa lang yung ating independent variable. No? Our unknown function depends only on one independent variable, in this case, which is x. Okay? Now, this one, so kita nyo kagad, di ba yung notation, no? So, may idea ka na, this is a partial differential equation. And to prove that, you can also see that our function depends on two independent variables, which is x and y. Okay? So, we have d squared z over dx squared plus d squared z over dy squared. So, we have two independent variables here. So, this is a partial differential equation. So, by the way, sinasabi natin yan that we have a partial derivative. Okay, we have partial derivative here dahil part of this derivative of our function is dependent on x and part of our function is dependent on y. So, that's why we have partial derivatives in here. Now, we have e to the xy minus 2x plus 3y squared is equal to 0. So, ano to? Is this an ordinary differential equation or this is a partial differential equation? So, I will give you time to think about it. Okay, so assuming na pag-isipan mo na, this is actually not an ordinary differential equation and this is also not a partial differential equation because this is not a differential equation. So, sabi nga natin, yung differential equation have a derivatives na nasa loob, no? So, in here, as you can see, wala naman tayong derivative dito. We do not have y prime, no? Wala tayo dito ang derivative. So, that means this is not a differential equation. Okay? So, ito. Is this an ordinary differential equation or partial differential equation? This is an ordinary differential equation dahil meron tayo ditong function which is dependent on only one independent variable, which is x. Okay? So, meron tayong derivative dito, dy over dx, and all of that is a function of x, no? Yung x lang yung ating independent variable. Okay? So, this is an ordinary differential equation. Okay, so ito naman, is this an ordinary differential equation or a partial differential equation? This is actually also an ordinary differential equation. Okay, so dahil isa lang naman ang ating independent variable x, okay, ng ating derivative. Now, ito naman, is this an ordinary differential equation or a partial differential equation? So, nakita kagad natin yung notation, no? We have partial derivatives. So, and it is, our function here is dependent on two independent variable, which is t and x. So, this is a partial differential equation. And last one, we have y2 prime squared plus y prime cubed plus 3y is equal to x squared. Is this an ordinary differential equation or partial differential equation? So, this is an ordinary differential equation dahil our function here is dependent on only one independent variable, which is x, because our y here is our derivatives here are dy over dx. So this is how you identify kung ang ating differential equation ba is ordinary differential equation or a partial differential equation. So on this lesson, natutunan na natin kung bakit ba natin pinag-aaralan yung differential equation, saan natin siya ina-apply, kay ano ba ang differential equation, ano yung pinagkaiba niya sa algebraic equation, and paano natin nalalaman kung ano yung solution ng ating differential equation. How can we prove if the equation or a function is the solution of our differential equation, and alam din natin kung paano mag-identify ng ordinary differential equation and partial differential equation. So in our succeeding videos, magsosolve na tayo ng mga problem po. At before that, kailangan muna natin malaman kung ano ba yung order and degree ng differential equations. No? Kailangan kasi matutunan muna natin to bago tayo mag-proceed sa mga solved problems. Okay, so thank you for watching our lecture video for today, and hope to see you in our next videos. To watch more of our lecture videos about engineering and STEM subjects, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa mga videos na i-upload namin. We are regularly uploading tutorial videos in engineering, mathematics, chemistry, physics, at iba pang subject na magagamit ninyo sa inyong pagre-review. So, thank you very much sa patuloy ninyong pagsuporta sa enginerds.org.